Saturday Night Live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's the final trilogy between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin in a 12-round super middleweight bout for Canelo's undisputed super middleweight championship. Let's break it down. Gennady Golovkin is 40 years old. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach and a record of 42-1-1 with 37 knockouts. From Karaganda, Kazakhstan, he was encouraged by his older brother to take up boxing at the age of 8 and began his amateur career at 11, winning gold medals in the junior and world championships, as well as a silver medal in the 2004 Athens Olympics, and compiling a record of 345-5 before turning pro in May of 2006 with a first-round knockout. Over the next 3 years, he went 18-0 with 15 knockouts before blowing out Milton Nunes in 58 seconds to win the WBA regular middleweight title. In hopes of becoming a household name, he signed with the Klitschko brothers' promotional company K2 and moved to Big Bear, California to train under Abel Sanchez. He then made 11 successful title defenses, all by stoppage, including knockouts of top contenders Kasim Ouma, Gabe Rosado, Matthew Macklin, and Curtis Stevens before taking on Mexico's Marco Antonio Rubio, breaking him down and working him before knocking him out in the second round with a devastating left hook to the forehead to claim the interim WBC middleweight title. He defended the belt twice with stoppages of Martin Murray and Willie Monroe before picking up the IBF title with an 8-round bludgeoning of hard-hitting David Lemieux in October of 2015. He defended those titles 3 times with a second-round knockout of Dominic Wade, an impressive 5th-round stoppage of welterweight champion Kell Brook, and after a wide unanimous decision over Danny Jacobs, he took on boxing superstar Canelo Alvarez, engaging in a highly tactical and hotly contested bout, which resulted in a highly controversial split draw, despite virtually all media outlets scoring it in favor of Golovkin. Due to the controversy and highly competitive nature of the fight, a rematch was immediately scheduled, though ultimately postponed as a result of Alvarez receiving a 6-month suspension after twice testing positive for PEDs. After a quick 2-round demolition of Vanes Martiniosen, the pair met again in another tactical, closely contested, and ultimately controversial fight, as once again most of the media outlets scored it for Golovkin, but the judges ruled it a majority decision for Alvarez. In May of 2019, he signed a 6-fight, $100 million deal with DAZN in hopes of securing a trilogy fight with Alvarez, and after knocking out Steven Rolls with a thunderous left hook, he defeated Sergey Derevyachenko via close unanimous decision to reclaim the newly vacated IBF title. He returned a year later, demolishing Poland's Kamil Zermeta, scoring multiple knockdowns en route to a 7th-round stoppage, and in April of 2022 took on Japan's Ryoto Murata, breaking down the champion gradually before stopping it with a vicious right cross to pick up the WBA title just 1 day after his 40th birthday. A calculating and highly tactical boxer-puncher, Golovkin is known for his exceptional balance and footwork, as well as possessing devastating one-punch knockout power in both hands, and holds the middleweight record for title defenses at 22 and knockout ratio at 89%. Canelo Alvarez is 32 years old. He's 5'9" with a 70.5-inch reach and a record of 57-2-2 with 39 knockouts. Growing up in Guadalajara, Mexico, he followed his 3 older brothers into boxing at the age of 13, going on to medal in several Mexican junior national championships and finishing his amateur career with a record of 44-2. He turned pro at the age of 15 when trainer Eddie Reynoso became unable to find any more opponents to fight him. He went 32-0-1 before getting his first major exposure, knocking out Jose Cotto on the Mayweather-Mosley undercard. In his next fight, he won the WBC Silver Junior Middleweight belt with a 6th-round knockout of Luciano Coelho, and followed that up with a brutal left hook knockout of former welterweight champion Carlos Baldomir. He won the vacant regular WBC belt from Matthew Hatton and defended it 5 times before adding the WBA belt with a unanimous decision over Austin Trout in 2013. In his next fight, he lost his belts via majority decision to Floyd Mayweather, but quickly bounced back, tearing through the junior middleweight division with knockouts over Alfredo Angulo and James Kirkland, before defeating Miguel Cotto by decision to claim the WBC middleweight title. After knocking out Amir Khan with a thunderous right cross and following that up with one-sided beatdowns of Liam Smith and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he took on Gennady Golovkin in an attempt to unify the middleweight division. After 12 intense but evenly matched rounds, the fight was ruled a draw, and when the pair rematched the following year, it was much of the same, with Alvarez pulling out a majority decision after another 12-round slugfest. Unable to unify the division, he set his sights on the weak super-middleweight division, knocking out Rocky Fielding with a body shot, and after a brief foray into light heavyweight to knock out Sergey Kovalev for the WBO belt, he returned to super-middleweight, winning the WBA and WBC titles with a unanimous decision over Callum Smith. He followed it up with a one-sided blowout of the hapless Avni Yildirim, and in May of 2021 added the WBO belt with an 8th-round stoppage of Billy Joe Saunders, putting on a masterful performance and fracturing his orbital bone before Saunders' team threw in the towel. 6 months later, he became the unified champion when he picked up the IBF title with a thorough and comprehensive beating of Caleb Plant, scoring an impressive 11th-round TKO. On May 7, 2022, he moved up to light heavyweight a second time to challenge WBA champion Dmitry Bivol. However, despite being a heavy favorite, he found himself thoroughly outboxed by the Russian, who used double and triple jabs to keep the smaller Alvarez at distance, or out to his first loss in 9 years. A defensive specialist with exceptional footwork and head movement, Alvarez also possesses phenomenal power and is perhaps the finest counterpuncher in the sport today. Can Alvarez utilize his dazzling hand speed and head movement to put a definitive end to this thrilling trilogy and reestablish himself as one of the best pound-for-pound of the sport? Or will the thunderous power and immense pressure of Triple G prove to be too much as he seeks revenge and tries to stake his claim as the most dominant middleweight of his era? Tune in Saturday night to Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin 3, and let's find out.